Now that I have the code in place to upload my logo, I need to make sure that that is actually connected to my index.php file, which I have open here. This is the Kinetico index.php file. You can find that from your www or your htdocs folder by going into your templates folder, into the Kinetico folder, and into index.php, and you can find this particular page. Right now, we are collecting information inside of our template style, but the index.php is not doing anything with it because we haven't told it to do anything with the information that it's got. So that is the next step. And fortunately, Protostar is once again a great place to go to find the code that we need to make this happen. So if you go to the Protostar template and you open up the Protostar index.php file, up here in the head of the document, we skipped over a whole bunch of stuff as we created our index.php file. Now we're going to come back and revisit some of that. So here in the Protostar template, if you scroll down here in the head of the document, down to line 64, you will find this little bit of code here that says logo file or site title param. And there's this big long if, else statement here at the top. Go ahead and copy that whole entire chunk of code here. It's line 64 to 77. Control or Command C to copy. And then inside of our index.php file, after the line about JHTML Bootstrap on line 8, hit return a couple of times and paste in the code that you just copied from Protostar. The way Protostar works is if you upload a logo file, it's going to display it on the website, but if you don't and you type in a title and a description into the fields that are provided, it displays those. We don't want anything that complicated. So we're going to take what we have here and we're going to reduce it a little bit. So what we've got right now, first of all, we've got this little else statement down here about the site title. We're not going to need that, so you can erase that. We also have this else if here. We're not going to need that, and you can erase that. Also, be careful about your opening and closing PHP tags. Notice this one here on line 18 is now grayed out. We only need one. We opened our PHP tag up here on line 1. We're going to close it here on line 16. So the one here on line 18 we don't need. Make sure you get rid of that. So this little bit of code here now between lines 10 and 14 is what we're going to use on our website. This is the way that the logo has been uploaded from the template style. Now what we're saying is, if there is a logo file that's coming from your template style, you're going to assign it a variable of logo. And the logo is going to have this value of a bunch of HTML here. Basically, it's the image tag that will display the logo on your website. That's what all this little bit of code here does. And what it's going to do is it's going to say an image source of the root of the website and the logo file, the path to the logo file. And then it's going to have an alt tag of your site name. So if you want to make a change to this, you can change it. Now, this is only going to create a variable called logo. That's all it's going to do. Logo itself isn't doing anything on the web page, but now we have a variable called logo. So there's one more thing that we need to copy here from Protostar. And that is down here. Right here on line 140. So you see here on the header in the Protostar template, we have this little bit of code here where it says PHP echo logo. That's the little bit of code that actually displays the logo on the web page. The HTML gets formed way up there in the head of the document, and then it's written into the web page using this. So I'm going to copy that little bit of code. And inside of my index.php, I'm going to scroll on down to where my logo is displaying. Right now I have it hard-coded into the page right here. So I'm just going to paste this right here in front of the ahref. Now, here's what's happening. This logo is going to be replaced. I have a different alt tag. Maybe I'd like to keep that alt tag. And then I have this class that needs to still stick around. This class of pull left, visible tablet, visible desktop. I'm going to copy all of that because that's all stuff I want to keep. Copy, and then I'm going to erase my image tag. I'm going to keep this one here because I'm not going to let people customize the mobile logo. So that's going to stay here and in place. But the main desktop logo, that will be able to be customized by that little bit of code. Up here at the top of the document now, in this image source tag, where it says the alt here for the site name, I'm going to erase that. And I'm going to paste in the code that I copied from down below. So now, instead of having an alt that's just a variable for the site name, I can actually hard code it in because this is a custom template and I know exactly what I want the value to be. And I've added a class to this particular HTML tag as well. Okay, so now's the moment of truth. If I say File, Save, what's going to happen? Well, when I refresh the front end of the website, I just got rid of the code that's displaying a logo for the desktop version of the site. You now have to configure it inside of the template style parameters. So what should happen is when I refresh my website, I should see a page with no logo on it at all. And that's a good thing. So let's look at the front end of the website. When I refresh my page, sure enough, my logo is now gone. I'm going to have to configure that in the back end of Joomla for the template style for this part of the website. But before I do that, I need to work on this background color as well, and I'll show you how to configure that part of it in index.php in the next video.